seen it, I wouldn't be asking. You keep moving everything around, changing things, but not saying anything to me. I can't find anything.
I don't need to think about it. I don't want to be a statistic. And I suppose somewhere deep down, still love him. You know, I'm not even so sure anymore.
The bills are piling up and we need the money, son. Now stop being a spoiled brat.
Look at me. Johnny, I'm a train wreck. Everything I touch, it falls apart. Our business, our life. I'm sorry, Mama.
It's okay, sweetie. I forgive you. I spoke to Barney's mother. She told me what you boys are doing, giving food to the homeless. It's really very noble, but also very dangerous. If you're going to be doing something like that again, you have to let me know, okay?
Good morning, viewers, friends, fans. I'm your host, Nadine Boothgooden from the Simon Bolivar Cultural Centre, Kingston, Jamaica, which is an arm of the Programs Coordination Division of the Institute of Jamaica, an agency of the Ministry of Culture, Gender, Entertainment and Sport. This morning, we just welcome you to another in our series of Carib Lat Got Talent. Carib Lat Got Talent is where we feature various personalities within the creative arts or the creative field of persons who, they could be actors, actresses, musicians, just persons who we consider to be persons who are championing the cause of the creative industry within their field of work. And so today we would like to welcome you, Sherando Ferril. Sherando Ferril, we welcome you.
Thank you so much for having me. It's my absolute pleasure to be here, Nadine. I'm excited. I can't wait for the conversation to start. Come on, we gotta ask.
Great. We are excited right here too. So the program is being brought to you by the Simon Bolivar Cultural Centre, arm of the Programs Coordination Division of the Institute of Jamaica, which is an agency of the Ministry of Culture, Gender, Entertainment and Sport. And we are located at 10 to 12 North Parade, Kingston, Jamaica. Our mandate is to foster Latin American and Caribbean integration. And through this effort, we feature various aspects or content that touches Latin America and the Caribbean. And the renowned Caribbean actress, a Jamaican, we are so proud to feature you this morning. And so we're going to get right into it before much ado. And
I would do cartwheels, but then I'm going to come off a camera, so I'm going to try to keep still.
Okay, let us see if we can give that a shot. Let us see if we can give it a shot at keeping still until we are able to roll live, because we're just coming to you virtually, which is such a wonderful opportunity to be doing so many things virtually these days, because there once was a time when you had to physically gather people together in a room and somebody has this to do and your event is so close one to another and you can't make it. Now you can shift from one event to another within 5 to 10 minutes. So we really do welcome this virtual opportunity as we continue to make the best of it. Now, Sherando, talk to me now. First of all, I want to thank you very much for accepting to be on our program. I know it's been a really stiff time for you. You've been busy here, there, you know, doing the whole international stardom thing. When I contacted you at one point, it was so difficult. You're overseas, traveling, you're on set. It's just in life, the movie star life was at its peak, you know, just carrying on. So I just had to be timing you to get a foot in the door and then just make a run for it. So we don't want to lose this opportunity today. So we want to just move into it. And thank you once again for accommodating us on this interview.
Thank you.
Now we're going to first things first. I'd love to know, you know, persons always say, look, I always knew I wanted to be an actress, whatever it is that they are doing as their vocation. They tend to say, oh yes, I knew at this moment or that moment that this is what I wanted to do. Talk to me about how your interest was born in the creative arts. When did you first realize that this is your route?
All right, so I don't know if I can put a finger on it, but I can take it to a little bit of a journey. So I remember when I was in high school, I think it was either first or second form. At some point I wanted to be a flight attendant. At another point I wanted to be a lawyer.
Yes.
Lawyer stuck with me for a while because me taught enough. So people always say, why are you a real village liar? You need to go study and turn a real liar. And stuck with me for a minute. Hey. Love chat, love people business then. And so the lawyer thing sat with me for a minute. And then I did some research and I realized how long it would have take for me to actually become a lawyer.
Yes.
Because I do as much of the academia as I need to get done what I need to get done.
Yes.
But aside from the fact that I lecture now, I don't really consider myself much of an academic. However, when it came to the performing arts, you never have to ask for much. You know, in church, I was on the choir, ran drama ministry, because my dad was a bishop before he passed. My mom is a pastor. And so I was literally always on stage, always moving, always entertaining. And I remember as a child, I grew up as an only child. I'm the only child between both my parents. And I remember always being in the yard when I sweep the yard with a broom. And the broom, or the rake rather, once it would have been my microphone, and the next time it was the opposite actor, the person who I talk to. And then I climb the tree, because I was a tomboy too, climb the tree, sit down on the tree, I'm gonna name the leaf them, I'm gonna talk to the leaf them, and and so I actually think, I don't know if there was a time when I said, okay, this is what I want to do. I was born to do this, and I can comfortably say that I was born to be a performer, you know, whichever aspect of the performing arts I fall into. I knew that this is what I was, it just happened, you know, because like nothing else never excite me. Nothing else interests me. You know, aside from the moment when I wanted to be a lawyer, which flew by quickly, nothing else really grabbed me and hold me enough where I felt like I was just me.
Good.
So there is a point. I'll just say that this just happened because this is why I'm here. This is purpose.
Okay, great. So you mentioned that both of your parents have a religious background, right? So did you consider like the regular child that grows up in a religious background? Oh, I'm going to be into gospel music. I'm going to be, you know, become a preacher. Did you ever think of modeling either of your parents?
All right. So me an actress, so I could act like a preacher, right? So,
you could act like a preacher. Acting is where you take it, not the real. Actually, following up that lifestyle is not the thing, but acting, you could deal with that part of it. Acting like a preacher.
Yeah. I mean, I preached before, you know, in youth church and whatnot, and I do have a strong belief system, which has also been a moral compass that has guided me. We're human beings, so we lose our way along the way. But once innate, once it's instilled in you from an early age, then no matter what happens, you find that rock and you keep going back to that rock.
That's right. The pivoting, yes.
But for me, no, in terms of wanting to be a preacher, no, that never crossed my mind. You know, so, always wanting to be involved in church in some way, yes.
Yes, I understand.
You want to go up on the rostrum and preach and that was never me.
Okay, great. So how supportive were your parents in this decision? Did they say, you know, generally in Jamaica, we think about creative arts. When people think about creative arts, they start thinking like, is what you're going to do. You're going to make any money in that, you know, that kind of feeling. Or wait, you're going to turn big Hollywood star, or you're going to be a big star here. Are you going to be on stage like, we're going to soon see you on TV like Oliver and like Titus and like, you know, some of our other actresses as well that we have here.
My parents have always been extremely supportive. There is no success that I could have gained, certainly not in my early career, without the support of my parents. Always been super supportive. I remember when I did my first play, I was 17 years old. I was still in sixth form at Meadowbrook High School at the time. And I landed this role in Ginger Knight's production called Deportee.
Deportee?
Yes, that was.
Wow, that must have been a role. Talk to me about that.
Listen, girl child, it was a role, right? Because I got to tap into my skittle side, you know. And ramp, you know, you just go past stage, I'm gonna fling it down. But this was following heavy on the heels of winning the Best Actress Award in the School Drama Festival the year before.
Best Actress Award. Slow that down. The Best Actress Award for the School Drama the year before. Yes, what was that play? What was the name of that play?
Oh my God. I think it was called The Client.
The Client.
Right.
Okay.
That's when I got to work with some amazing people. And I remember when I was handed that award, Natalie Thompson, who is now a stalwart in film and media production in Jamaica, gave it to me. And every once in a while, I see that newspaper clip and I go back to it and I look at it and I say, Jesus, me and Natalie, if you ever she could have been my big sister. Anyway, I digress. But
good.
That's when that happened. So and I forget the question because I get derailed. I run all over the place. But I think
no problem. You did answer it because I asked you what was the name of that film and you did tell us The Client. Fine, good. Okay, so you were 17 when you acted in your first official play.
Yeah.
Yes, and that play was, remind us the name of that play, the one you act,
Deportee. That was a
Deportee. Oh, the
Ginger Night.
play was Deportee. I heard when you said you acted in a role, and what role did you play exactly in that film? You were the
Um,
deportee, or you
so I
were
was the girlfriend of the deportee.
the girlfriend of the deportee? How interesting.
Yes, yes.
Yes.
And funny enough, that play actually stretched me a little bit because I played two roles. I also played
Oh,
the immigration officer.
oh
So I
wow.
had to take off the Sketelina and then put on, the thing and go, good morning, sir. Thank you for coming in. Da, da, da. And then of course
Yes.
his visa was denied. So this is me stamping and him putting in hands over the place and
Well, that is so that is somewhat hilarious, because having to be the girlfriend of the deportee doesn't really transfer readily into the role of the immigration officer. So they must have seen something incredibly talented in you at that time to have you doubling in the same
yeah.
film, and at the age of 17. That was a magnificent start.
Yeah, man.
Okay.
It was good. It was good stuff. So, I
Okay.
remember you were asking. My parents were supportive, and I was saying that when I did my first stage production at 17, which was the Porty, I remember they had this conversation. My dad had a conversation with Ginger Knight, and he said to him, "I'm giving you my daughter to work. You have to ensure that she comes home every night safely." And
Okay.
and my parents would be at the top of the road, literally. Maybe my mother not all the time, but definitely my dad every single night, because I would work Friday, Saturday, and Sunday nights, and then of course I have school on Monday. And my dad would be at
Okay.
the top of the road every night when Ginger would drop me off and hand
Okay.
it over to my father, and then me and my father walk down the road to the house. So support from my parents has always been paramount.
Okay.
That has not changed at all. No, my father has passed and my mom is still around. If I leave my mother, I never touch a pot. She want to cook every meal for me. She want
Yes,
to make
because you must eat healthy, and
sure. Yes, yes. So the
yes, and you
support from
mustn't look too skinny, you mustn't lose too much weight and all of
here,
that.
look here, don't start. So
You look at you twice and say, but how you look so? You look like you
you look
you,
you
you,
not
you,
look
you
like
look you look
Dorothy
like
Dad.
you're losing weight, man. What happened to you? You're
Yeah, man.
stressed? Don't
Same
let this
stuff,
work thing stress you out, You have to eat your food and keep on your weight. Don't follow them.
same stuff, same stuff.
I
So
know,
yeah,
I know. All right. So tell me, after age 17, I know I want to find out what other films you would have worked in, and or give me a full overview of who is Sherando Ferril, and in the field of the creative arts, like which other Jamaicans you might have worked with,
oh wow.
renowned
Um,
persons. Give us a rundown of that. But start before you give us the whole rundown of who you might have worked with. Give us an idea of what full scope you're doing. If it's Are you only a actor in acting, or you do producing as well? Give us an idea of that.
All right, so I started as an actress and I started on stage. So theater, which is what Deportee was.
Yes.
I did a few stage productions with Ginger Knight. I did a few with Louis Marriott, and I'm aging myself now because all of these are older producers, and I'm not
Yes,
but
yes, yes. But we read a lot. We read a lot. Remember, we read a lot, so we can know, you
yes,
know,
my age, my
different
at,
things from different era.
look at my at, yeah, right. And so
I
I
read
did
a lot, so I know about these people from reading.
of course, it's from reading. What else? Girl, please. We ain't gonna tell nobody that we know each other and in school together and
No,
stuff. We're not the same age. What you talking about?
you're
No,
not
stop.
giving it away now, are you?
All right, the 30-year-old friend. Dear thing. So I did that for a while. So Ginger Knight, Louis Marriott. I did some work with Jambies International. Jambies is still current. I've worked at pretty much every single theater space in Kingston. I've done center stage. I've done the band theater, New Kingston Theater, Little Theater, Ward Theater. I also worked with Sheila Graham and the Area Boy Association. So it's a myriad of years ago. And I
Wow.
played the lead role. Wole Soyinka is a Nobel laureate. I think he's Nigerian.
Okay.
I don't remember. I'm embarrassed that I don't. But he's a Nobel laureate, and he did a play called The Beatification of Area Boy, and we
Oh,
adapted it for a Jamaican audience, and I played the lead female in that. We did that at the Ward Theatre, and that ran for a while. While I was doing that, I was working with the likes of Blacka Ellis, Winston Bell, Andrew Broadbaugh, Matt Danvers was there as well. Ian Ellis, you know him now as IT from IT and Fancy Cash.
Yes, yes.
This was a bunch of named actors that I had the opportunity to work with, because this was a huge production, you know.
Yes.
And so, yes, so pretty much every theater space you can think of. And somewhere in the middle of all of that, between 16, 17, and 18, I can't remember the exact age, I got a role in Lime Tree Lane, which was popular at the time.
Yes, I remember Lime Tree Lane. Everybody just, it became a household name, really.
Absolutely, absolutely. I played Johnny girlfriend who did get pregnant, because the idea was to talk about teenage pregnancy.
Yes.
And Chris and I developed an amazing friendship that has continued into today since then. And so I did some television there, and film in Jamaica wasn't as prominent when I was in my 20s. But I think that's when Dancehall Queen came out. I went and I auditioned for the role of the lead, and Audrey got that role. And so we had just little bits and small little film projects that did happen at the time, but nothing too major. But what was important to me was that as an actress, I was in the mix, you know.
That's right.
And so opportunity.
You know, sowing the seeds, you know.
That's I think, and I'm digressing for a second, I think that's a lot of what happens to this generation. They don't understand the importance of inputting the work.
Exactly. Everybody just wants to arrive someplace. Nobody's interested in the journey. And we really have to get back to that focus where we look at the journey and understand that you set goals, and then there are levels you get to before you actually just reach the goals, not just arrive right here and that's
And with the proliferation of social media, this generation, the social media generation has this instant stardom thing. I never have that luxury there, you know.
Fast food to everything. They want the fast food version of everything.
Exactly. I did that for work, Nadim. I go through embarrassment, I go through insult, the amount of no's when I hear all of them something like, you, why do you think you can be an actress? You don't belong in this industry. You'll never get, I hear all of them things. Then I mean a cussing thing to me, because my mind just focused on what I do, you know? So at that time I was sowing my seeds. And then it eventually evolved into other things. So I went to Carib Lat. I did a degree in journalism, media and communications, with an emphasis on radio, to be exact. And I walked away having the ability to produce audio, which is the core of my business, which we'll talk about in a minute. And again, met some amazing people. Faye Ellington was one of my teachers. Alma Makien was another of my teachers. And I'm coming back from the day when, so right before we did the major digital crossover, when we learn how to splice tape and edit.
Wow.
So I can edit analog and digital.
Oh, wow. I mean, that must be a rare skill today. I don't know how many persons are able to say that. No, nobody's doing that.
No more, but, you know, anyway. So yes. So pretty much any name you can call. I've been blessed to work with them. I've worked with Oliver Samuels. I've worked with Valere Johnson before he passed, bless his heart. I've worked with Leonie Forbes. And these guys, I've worked with them. So whether it is a situation where I've worked with them in front of the camera or behind the camera.
Or behind the scenes.
Right. I've worked with them nonetheless.
You know, as you mentioned, behind the scenes, this is one of the things that sometimes people don't get enough credit for. I've heard persons, whether in the music industry or the acting industry, generally in the creative field and in other fields, generally, I should say, persons would be saying, oh, you know, we do all the work behind the scenes, we don't get any recognition. And it's as if nobody recognizes the effort that goes into supporting a production. It's a production team. It's not just what you see at the end. There's, you know, there's a whole other section that you don't get to see. And this is why we give credit to persons who participate. When you have a film run, you have to give credits to, you know, producer, the lighting specialist, the videographer, all of that goes into it. Yes, the coach on the set, the person who brings you the water, everything.
Thank you. The girl who hold my umbrella when I did that, do the Usain Bolt ad. Look here, I said I did bust, you know.
You burst out. Listen now, this is doing the Usain Bolt ad.
All she do was hold my umbrella and bring water. Come give me say, Pastor George, you're done.
Yes, that's it. And sometimes the smallest roles can just catapult you over into something much larger. So we have to learn to recognize and celebrate the journey, and recognize and celebrate, just the small things, not just the large things or that the end result. Because sometimes we get lost in focusing on the end result, like the pie in the sky, and we lose sight of the one on your plate, for example. You're not thinking one day I'm going to bake this mega cake and cater for how many thousands of persons, and I'll be and then we keep forgetting all the world's a stage,
Yes, ma'am.
as we say. And so every person that you meet, you have a chance to learn something from that person. And there are ideas in just about every interaction in human life. Sometimes you might just meet somebody in the market buying something and say, oh, that's a good idea for a play. Some simple things. So the more you remain grounded and just in touch and open, you have a better chance
you have more
of getting ahead.
Absolutely.
Okay, fine. So tell me something. I happen to know that you're the vice president of an association for women in film right here in Jamaica. Talk to me about that.
All right. So
industry, and what role do you play?
Women in
as
film
vice president, what do you do?
Yeah, man. Women in Film and TV is an international organization.
Okay.
In Jamaica is just the Jamaican chapter.
Okay.
And this is something that existed before my time. Natalie Thompson, who I mentioned just now, who gave me that award for the Best Actress thing in '94, she is a former president of, and it was thriving at the time. But as associations go, things happen over time, and it lost its momentum, and it was kind of dormant. And while I was living in LA, because I lived and worked in LA for a while.
Which we'll get to very shortly, your LA activities and, your whole international activities, sure. The Hollywood there, yes.
No problem. While I was there, I reconnected with former colleague from Fame FM, Dr. Deborah Hickling Gordon, yes. Who works at the university right now.
Yes, I know her. We went to the Queen's School together.
Yeah, manager name on the two eyes. Right?
The Queen School.
And not just Queens, it's the Queen.
The Queen. No, didn't you hear the Queen School? Hear it. Just like the Michael.
No. I don't argue with school. I got to Kingston Technical High School and Meadowbrook High School. I don't know.
All right. Notably so.
There's no the in front of any of them.
Okay. No problem. But they have made their mark on society as well. Yes.
There you go. Yeah, so I reconnected with Deborah and we got to talking and realized that this association needed to be reestablished. Gabrielle Blackwood, who is the leading female cinematographer in Jamaica right now, and Nadine Rawlins, who is an outstanding actress in her own right, we got together, we started having those meetings online, Jamaican time, when they want me to 11 o'clock at 4 o'clock my time at LA or 2 o'clock, whatever it was, some ridiculous time. But we got together, we knocked our heads together and we reconvened. So by the time I moved back home in 2019, we were in a position where we could now be the same physical space and start to actually put some more teeth into the organization. So we relaunched in August, or reconvened rather, in August of 2019. Then we had an election in in either December, January, I don't remember. And that's when I got voted in as vice president. And then that by the time March came around, COVID came.
Oh, yes.
All the activities that we had planned to kind of put the organization on the map, a lot of that had to be kind of shelved. And, so we've been battering for the past couple of years to just kind of stay afloat and stay current.
Yes.
Hoping that once this pandemic issue passes, we can dive in. So my role as vice president, which it kind of speaks for itself, yes. Outreach locally and within the region and internationally.
Okay.
So that's what I do. So I make the connections, we all do it in our own right as committee members, but that is my specific role. And I also help with standardization in terms of the industry and so on and so forth. So yeah, that's pretty much what I do.
Okay, great. So I want to just shift right away to, I understand that you've been awarded for Best Actress for another film, which you'll speak to us about. Tell us about that film and tell us a little about your Hollywood stint, the international stardom that you are benefiting from at this time and have been exposed to. So just talk to us a bit about that, please.
All right, so I'll carry you through the Hollywood thing, which will take us to the film.
Yes.
So I went away to study to do a master's degree in film and media production. Always
Yes.
knew I wanted to do a master's, but there was nothing at UWI that was film related. And I'd done media, I'd done radio, I'd done television, so I wanted to take the next step. And so I went to the New York Film Academy. And in my last 3 months there, the assistant dean at the time, who became the dean eventually, she said to me, would you be interested in teaching here? Because my plan was just to go, I go do a meadow and come back on my yard. And I said, sure.
Yes.
You know, I said, what do you have in mind? And she says, okay, just finish the degree and then we'll get through it.
Yes.
Well, so said, so done. By the time I done, fortunately for me, I was walking into a job as soon as I graduated, and that is not common. So I'm very grateful for that.
Wow.
You know? I never
Yes.
forgot Hollywood, go wait tables and whatnot, and I bless God, you know, because if I did have to wait tables, I would have got airport and come on my yard.
Yes, understand. There's a level, like we know that, I mean, any bread is honest bread, it's okay. But after you've invested some amount of time and the financial resources into yourself, you must be able to benefit from a certain other level of engagement. We fully
And
understand that.
there when I was in my 30s. So if somebody at 20, 25, we can understand it because a different grind. At
Yes.
30, 37, I was already married. I had children. I had a business. So anything
Yes.
that I was doing had to be an elevation from where I was.
Yes, I understand.
No disrespect. It is what it is.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're saying. And if I may put this in at this point, this is one of the reasons a lot of Jamaicans do not migrate, because if they're formally trained and they're specialized in their area, they're not going to just up and leave and to, you know, do something just, less than what they were trained to do at that time, and to start all over. There's a stage at which you're not interested to start all over.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Right. So that's where I was. So again, grateful to God that I was given the opportunity. And so I stepped into the classroom. I had taught before, but not formally. I taught through my company, my old company, which was Q Fair Productions. I would train the talents in voice acting and presentation for camera and such delight. So I'd had the experience of standing in front of students, but not in that kind of a formal setting for another institution. So I stepped into the role, and clearly I guess I was doing so well that each semester I got more and more classes, you know, and that.
Oh, good.
Mm-hmm. And whilst I was doing that, I was still performing. I did some commercials, Amazon, Walmart, Samsung, a few things.
Wow.
I did a couple of short films. I produced, directed, wrote quite a few while I was there. And then eventually I came home. And when I came home in 2019, I was asked to come to an audition. And that's something, again, a lot of no generation don't understand. It doesn't matter how established you are. Yes, there are going to be people who may write roles specifically for you when you get to a certain stage.
Yes.
But under normal circumstances, you still need to humble yourself, do the demo and do the audition, right? You can't do audition. If you're too hyped for audition, you can't do that work, yeah. So I came home, got invited to an audition. I got me nervous like everybody else. I read through my lines and I said, Lord, got a character, you have to figure out. Then I went in, I did the audition. The people I was auditioning for are people I knew. Are people who I worked with before I even left Jamaica. But there's a respect level where you have to have for the art, where nothing to do with it, a talent.
Right.
You don't write for the work, you don't write for the work. Humble yourself and go see.
And every day, another thing we have to recognize too is that you're as good as your last performance. And on this day, what you bring to the table on this specific day is what is going to count. So it doesn't matter how great you are and how many films you have done, each one is another opportunity or challenge to prove how good you are and how much better you might have become since your last production.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So I went and I did the audition. Unfortunately, I was given the opportunity to bring this role, this character to life. The film is called Sweet Rind. The character is Elsie. And we, within a couple of weeks, you know, after negotiations, we went and we shot the film, short film. I think the final product came out to about either 14 or 20 minutes, I don't remember. And the producers put it into numerous film festivals across the globe. I will send you stats for that, so you will see all of the festivals that it was accepted in, all the nominations that it got, and all the awards that it got. It was surprising to me how this little film, and I say little because, you know, we're country liquor, we're crew liquor.
Yes. As a matter of fact, you said it's little, but I'd like to just have a look at just a clip from it at this point.
color should I start with, Mr. Alger? You want to see your son again?
You take me for a fool? Huh?
As a matter of fact, I'm better off without you.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Right. So thank
Interesting, quite interesting.
you. Yes, that was Elsie. You see how I angle him?
Yes, 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 yes.
Now that's him deserve, but that's scammer forget. Really. So,
Yes, good, good. You
so this
did well.
particular- Thank you. So this particular film has been entered into so many film festivals globally. And
Yes.
So far, personally, I've won 8 Best Actress Awards for my performance in the film. Yeah, man. And
8
numerous-
Best Actress Awards for that one film.
Yes.
Wow. That's somewhat unprecedented. That doesn't happen every day.
And-
People
and-
act and act and act their whole life and hope to get an award, but 8 awards in one film.
Yeah,
That's superb.
Me tell you, me I walk in steps that are ordered. You
Yes.
understand? Walk in purpose. And as long as I understand the importance of being quiet and listening to that still voice and just taking the guidance, things have a way of falling into place, you know. So I live in eternal gratitude. Every day is gratitude for me. You
Yes.
know? So 8 Best Actress Awards, numerous nominations, number of phone calls since then. I've also recently come back from St. Martin. I was shooting my first lead in a feature film. I've done feature films before, but it's my first lead in a feature where I play an abused victim.
Okay.
Domestic abuse.
Domestic
physical
abuse,
and
yes,
emotional.
which is quite topical these days, you know.
It is.
And I think it's never been, if I may just interject here, it's never been something that, you know, we say, okay, we never heard of it or we don't think this is happening. However, it's as if it's on the rise,
Mhm.
sadly. And especially in the pandemic, it seems as if the occurrence of these situations, it
No.
has just ballooned. It seems
Yeah.
that way.
Yeah, it gets
Yeah,
from
so it's
bad-
quite good. At this time, it's quite pertinent, that film.
Absolutely,
So
absolutely.
how difficult was it for you to play that role, or how easy was it?
Well, see, that's what I'm going to tell you now. When I just got the script and I read it, I was reading it from the perspective of being an acting coach because I needed somebody to upskill the actors in St. Martin because they don't have a film industry. And I thought, yeah, sure, this is exciting. And then when they asked me to play the lead role, now I step back and I say, I say, first of all, if a man try to put him on, me, I got chop you off. So, yeah, that role, yeah. You understand me?
Yes, you don't know how to get into the character where now you're going to be the passive, self-pity kind of victim. Yes.
What was good about that, Nadine, is that it forced me to see this through the eyes of the victims. And
Yes.
so I was given the opportunity to bring a lot of women's reality to life. And hold on, a lot of it was my reality too. But I didn't realize how horribly emotionally abused I was until
Wow.
after I read it and started doing some research on the character. And I
Wow.
thought, girl, please. Because
Yes.
it's important for me whenever I'm bringing a character to life to have a good understanding of the background so I can make it real.
To connect, yes, to connect with it in some way, whether by empathy or sympathy, whichever way, but you just have to get a way to connect with it.
And in my research, I realized I had a lot more in common with this character than I realized, you know?
Okay.
And so I go and be straight. Me call my therapist. I'm going to say, Dr. Rose, Ray, you know, what got happened? Suppose I got so deep in the role so I can't come out. And she's
Wow.
been my therapist for years and my friend. So she understands me. She's like, girl, please, you're going to be fine. You're actress. Go do your work and come out your yard. And she
But
was
you know,
right.
that's a very important point, you know, because we have to look at where do you separate the acting from the reality, especially when the acting touches your reality. How easy is that? You know, to really, is either you really does it either helps or it hinders in some ways. I can imagine sometimes it really helps you to better act in the role, and sometimes I think it can negatively affect how much you put out into the role.
If you're not able to, because some actors don't necessarily have the ability to go into the role and then to come back out. It is something I've learned to do. And you have to be able to do that when you're playing these deep emotional roles. Otherwise, you'll stay in that state of sadness and depression and whatnot and can't come out. And I know that one of the things I did while I was on set was a lot of singing. So in between the breaks, I had my phone, I played the music, we dance and we sing and we carry on and, you know, all of them.
Yes. I remember calling you at one point and you said, yeah, and I said, oh, you're on set, sorry. And you said, no, it's okay. I need a little time out now. So let's get on with the talking. I remember that. But I want to stick a pin right here. You mentioned that you called your therapist. And I'm saying this is something that is almost taboo in our culture. If you say, oh, I have a therapist, it's like, okay, this one is mad. And this statement keeps coming up over and over in each of the sessions or interviews that we do or whatever it is that we're doing. If we're doing a parenting seminar, whatever it is we're doing, we find that persons are mentioning the whole matter of a mental health situation. And more, I believe that persons are becoming, it might be a slow progress, but I think steadily people are beginning to realize that needing counseling does not mean that you're insane. Perhaps it could be the thing that keeps you from going insane.
It's because you're sane where you know you need counseling.
I would imagine so. Yeah, it is the thing that is keeping you from going insane because everybody needs that level of, communication to run something by somebody, to actually just go through things and without being all alone and thinking you have to handle this all by yourself. Sometimes you can find a friend, a family member, a lecturer, depending on the field you're in, a colleague, but it is important that you have an avenue.
Yeah,
it is.
Been there, and me not have no issue as me going to therapy. Therapy is important. Now, as best as we try as parents, our kids are not going to come out perfect because our own issues and insecurities and figuring life out as you go along are going to affect them in some kind of way. So all our various levels of issues. Some might be 100 than others. Why I think therapy is something that is necessary, and you can call therapy anything you want. Talk to your pastor, talk to your mate, talk to your whatever you want to call it. Why I think it is important that it gives you a platform where you can be truly open with your feelings with somebody you trust, and you can try to bottom of things and understand triggers and why something trigger you and why you're this and why you're that. And therefore, when you're able to do that now, you can better manage not just your mental health, but how you deal with life on an everyday
everyday basis. Yes, good, great.
Therapy just makes you stronger, and which is why Dr. Johnson before I went over. But
so let me take a pin. Is it in the theaters yet?
No, not yet.
So we're having an exclusive discussion on this first time.
Yes, actually, the first interview in which I've spoken about this film is called Chokehold.
Okay, chokehold. So we're looking out for that. When do you think this will hit the theaters? Hit the cinemas, sorry.
Summer next year.
Impressive. Good stuff. And as I'm looking at the clip from this film, I'm looking and I'm thinking the various accents that you have to adopt according to the role. How do you manage to switch from it? How easy is it? Have you had time when you say, oh, this accent, I just can't get it?
Not really. There's some of them that just kind of comes to me naturally, right? Because I've been doing it over and over for a while.
Okay, I got you.
Jumping into an American accent is not so challenging, but I've had to do. I did a Bayesian accent one time. Horrible. That's probably the worst attempt I'd ever made at an accent. And I've had to do a Russian accent. I've done Nigerian. I've done Ghanaian. All of those. And those are all interesting. But for me, I don't take any of my roles for granted.
Yes.
Every role that I have to play, I take the time to do the actual research.
Yes. Good.
So that bringing a certain level of authenticity to it. Because the truth is, Nadine, one ex-actress out there could have played better than me, But I just was given the opportunity to do this. So I have to make sure that I give it all of what I have. So
that's right.
I've had accents that I've had to play where I've needed to do major research. And the the accent that has challenged me the most, interestingly enough, I want St. Elizabeth country accent, believe it or not.
Wow. No, let me just pause here to recognize the fact that people believe that once you're Jamaican, you can just speak patois, and it's just automatic and it's so easy, and it is not. And it is not uniformed either across the various parishes. I have come to learn that there are various degrees of it. We talk about in as linguists would like to say the accolade, mesolect, and the dialect, and these different areas. I mean, you can find it right here in Jamaica, right across the continuum. Yes, yes. So let me see what role was that? Was it a commercial or a play?
A play. It was a play we did called Stanley Faye, Pulachi and P. And
Oh,
it was a
yes.
remake of something that was done in the 70s. And I had to play God have mercy, me forget what she name, but it was the lead female. And I remember when I was in rehearsals, because we have a way when we think country, we automatically start with so, because we feel, yeah, so you country people, so I jumped into that kind of sound.
Yes, yes.
Somebody on set said to me, I think it was the director, said to me, you sound like X, which is a fairly popular countrified character in Jamaican space. I'm gonna go, I saw me song and say, yeah, man. They thought it was something good. I did not, because I never read the character where they might talk about. So I say, if I sound, me I do something wrong. So I go home the night, I bala. I cleanse my soul, my ball. I say, oh God, why me can't get this? What happened to me? And I know people might think that this is dramatic, but I believe it's necessary to bring authenticity to the work.
Yeah.
So and I want me done ball now. I recorded myself and I started listening to myself, and I recognized where that tone could have changed and that word and that thing could have different and And so by the time I touched the stage the next day, my girl, the director
I was wondering what happened right there, and then it just couldn't get it.
I'm gonna tell you what happened. What happened is that you tell me, say me sound like something me don't want to sound like. So
and that was the motivation right there.
But that was the most challenging accent I've ever had to play.
Interesting. One would have thought perhaps it's more of an international accent that would be more challenging, but it's really easier for most Jamaicans to switch to British or American rather than something, what we consider more local, because we live in Kingston, most of us.
Manchester, all of them sound different, from Portland.
Yes.
Sound different.
Right. Yeah, most of us who live in Kingston believe that, the people out of town, they thought this way, and we just have one idea of it. And no, it's not so. Okay, interesting. Good to know that. So at this time, I'd like to after talking about these various roles that you've played, say, what would you consider to have been your best role that you have played in a film?
Wow.
Either film or a theater performance.
Film or stage. Geez, I wonder rough. I think the role that I enjoyed playing the most is Diana in Dirty Diana.
Diana in Dirty Diana. Okay, Dirty Diana. Okay, tell us about that character.
The original staging of Dirty Diana. I say that because they did a remake a few years back.
Yes.
And I think what was interesting for me is that role required me to go on an interesting emotional journey.
Wow.
So I had the highs and lows, the everything. I needed everything in me as an actress to bring that to life. And I also had to do a lot of research because Diana was a go-go dancer. And so I had to go to strip clubs to watch how the women walk in the shoes, the boot with the heel and the something.
Yes, yes.
So we make it real when we're up on stage. And I had to see how they interacted with the audience, how them deal with the man them versus how them deal with the woman them. And then on that role, I had to literally climb on the bar counter and dance like a proper go-go, you know what I'm saying?
Wow, up on the counter.
On the counter, hit to some little piece of skimpy something where my father, we couldn't make my father watch that play then.
He would read you out. Your father would read you out.
Yeah, would have said, this one, that one, yeah.
He would read you out fully. But
what I like about it is from an actress's perspective, I need to find emotions that I never yet knew I had. So it was real work to unearth those feelings in order to make this character authentic.
Okay, great. Now, as you mentioned that, and how you had to get really into character for playing that role of a go-go dancer. Do you feel that there's the existence of gender biases within the creative industries? Do you have a challenge being like a woman in this industry? Speak to us about your experience from that angle.
Yes,
Candidly, please.
gender bias. You know me always candid, so who are offended and lucky then can press off right about now and go about them business. So there's definitely gender bias. No, this is a male-dominated field, and if you talk to singers and female DJ and whatever, you're gonna hear similar stories. You know, the man them want a thing before them bust upon a certain thing and ray. I mean, dark ignorant when it comes to them something, you know, because I'm very clear as to what my talent is, and I know what I bring to the table. And I've said this in interviews before, and I will continue to say it, and nobody can challenge it. The work that I've gotten as a performer, I've gotten because of hard work and because of my talent. Not to say that I wasn't told, yeah, but if you did and you would have did a song, you would have raised some good. You understand? Come on, do this when I merit. So is there gender bias? God, yes. And that's one of the things that I've been working hard at shifting as best as I can with whatever little influence I have in my lifetime to make it easier for more women who come in the industry. For me, it's about balance, you know. It's not about no woman must come and take over and run the man. It don't work so. What we need is to be able to communicate and create some kind of balance.
Balance. Balance seems to be the elusive notion.
Look here. People equality, Nadine. I don't strive for equality. I strive for balance. Do you
remember this book called Animal Farm? Some animal, not all animals are equal, but some are more equal than others. Sometimes we kind of get that feeling like, okay, we're equal, but to a point. Try remember now, we're just kind of equal now, but when you get to a certain other thing, just know your place.
You're married. You bring something to the table. Your husband brings something to the table. That does not equate to equality. It equates to balance.
And complementarity.
Exactly. You complement each other and you create something.
Yes.
So for me, not know about, all right, the man them need to move on because the woman them time now need to take over. Don't be ignorant. No, I know that me I talk about. What I'm talking about is fairness, fair opportunity. Don't give a role because you want to look for my bottom in a shots.
Yes.
Give me the role because this is the role that I deserve and I can bring the best thing to the table. Don't
That's right.
Me because the other girl willing to sleep with you, so you give she the work because you get some on the side. Give me the role or give her the role because she's a better fit for the role. You understand? So
that's right.
What has been challenging me as an actress as I go through, and not just an actress. Let me put the acting aside for a second because I'm also a writer, producer, and director, talent agent. And I train talent in voice acting and acting.
Which will lead us right into Yardbridge. You give us a little intro on Yardbridge, how it started, and
Right. So that is heavy on me. That's so to answer the gender bias question. Yes, it exists. It has always existed. I've had to deal with it. I've come out on top, but a lot of women's story is not the same.
I understand.
So Yardbridge Entertainment now, which is my company, tagline is Caribbean Stories Global Audiences.
Caribbean Stories Global Audiences. I like that. That's right. I mean, you don't have to end where you begin, because the whole point of doing anything these days is to add the word international or global to it, right? You can't just be doing anything in just one corner now and expect to be quite successful. You have to be more than just your corner.
Yes, absolutely. The world is there. The world is
there. And with the whole technology and the media, there's so many, there's so much that we can do. Never before has it been so possible to do so much. Like and the market with so little.
Yes, yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Like this virtual space now has set us up in such a way that there's so much more we can accomplish, with just a connection on a phone,
Yes, yes.
So the idea was birthed while I was in LA, and I realized that there was a lacking in authentically told Caribbean stories or authentically written Caribbean characters. Yes. So we would watch shows and occasionally, would have to wait for the man them a foreign to create something and put one Caribbean character in it. And more than likely it's gonna be Jamaican. Very likely it's not going to be a Jamaican who's playing it. Right?
Yes.
We know say I know so we accent so on. Whenever they go talk to our mother say you must be mad. You think we are you must be you want mother kick with that sort of thing. So they don't understand the culture, but because they're the ones that control the means of production, i.e. distribution, opportunities, all of that stuff, then they're the ones who control what happens. Some say, no, I don't feel so. Come have a very entrepreneurial mind. And some say, we don't go on the phone thing. I go to my yard, go to my thing. And so Yard was born.
Yard Bridge, yes. I like the very name of it, Yard Bridge. I'm getting from it, and you can tell me if this sounds like what you were thinking of when you were thinking of the name, Yard Bridge. Were you thinking of something that's actually bridging the gap between yard and the international sphere? Is that what you were thinking?
Absolutely. And it's Yard, Y-A-A-D.
Yard, yes.
Straight.
Y-A-A-D, Yard, not Yard Bridge, but Yard.
Not Yard. So now we're gonna have to put on the upper St. Andrew affectation.
Yard Bridge.
Yeah, right. And so the purpose of it is, as you said, to bridge that gap between our local stories and that global audience.
Yes.
And so the work that we've been doing, I'm putting in a lot of groundwork because, like I said, the film industry in Jamaica, whilst things are happening, it not depend on the levels yet where we can't even really eat a food or fight, because there's a lot of education that still needs to go into the industry. A lot of understanding. You have the financiers who speak a completely different language than the creative people.
Yes.
That gap as well. So people who have money to invest can understand what it means to invest in film and media, and people who have the creative idea can understand what it means for these people to give you their money.
Yes, exactly. Yes.
You know, so there's
that's right. That
still needs to happen. But we're heavy in the mix, and we are not just hopeful, we are positive that great things are going to come of it. Because like me keep saying to you,
fabulous.
My life is purpose driven. I'm not going nowhere where I'm not sent. So I know that there are things that are happening because I need to be where I am right now.
Yes.
So we produce anything audiovisual, content, film, TV, audio dramas.
Yes.
Currently, Yardbridge is the leader in producing audio dramas for a Jamaican audience. Just completed an 8 episode for FHC, a client of ours, First Heritage Corporation. And there's another one, can't talk about it yet. There's another one coming.
In the pipeline, yes.
We've had the long-running Power Connection from JPS, and a whole bunch of others that we've done for Heart Trust, NTA, e-learning Jamaica, a whole heap of stuff. So there's all of that too. We don't necessarily produce commercials. It's not on our list of things. Everybody do that. May then go and eat them food. We'll step it out a little bit more than that. And so there's some training as well that we offer to potential actors and actresses, voice, stage.
Yes. Okay, great.
And a part of what we do as well is this part is a little slower in coming. We need more infrastructure in place. Is managed talent. That was heavier in the former company that we had. So we're gonna get, but the pandemic really slowed down a lot of our efforts.
Yes.
So we're just
going to get back to it, because a lot of things we have to just take it in stride. We can't. It's, for example, if you have a pool and the pool is empty, don't go swimming at that time. Don't go diving off from your balcony into it. When it's full again with water, you can try it again. So that's it. You just work with the current, right? Go with the tides. There are times when you might really be going, well, you say swimming against the current, but there are times when you just have to go with the tides. So we understand that fully. So what's next for Sherando Ferril? You told us that you have something in the pipeline, but is there anything else outside of what is in the pipeline that you cannot speak about? Anything else that you'd like to share with us at this point?
So that film, Sweet Ryan, the one that I won the awards for, that was a short. We're due to go into production in summer next year, for the feature-length film. The script is complete, as I understand it from the producers. The investors are in place. So it's just a matter now of getting the rest of the cast and the crew together, working around everybody's schedule, and just kind of hitting the ground running.
Oh, great.
So I'm excited about that.
Excellent.
There's also, from the perspective of Yardbridge Entertainment, there is also a film that we have in development. And also a fictional podcast that we have developed, working on. I'm also writing a book on audio drama and podcasting. And podcast that I'm doing with a very good friend of mine, Markadine Grant. Entrepreneurs, the Creative Entrepreneurs podcast, where we're talking about bridging the gap again between the creative mind and the business mind. So.
Great. because that's also something that is lacking sometimes. We might have the creative mind, but the business mind is not necessarily there to steer the creativity. Yes, understood. Excellent, excellent. It's been lovely speaking with you, Sherando Ferril, actress, producer, writer, talent manager extraordinaire. I'm sure I've left out a few things here. A mother as well, you know. Excellent.
Mother
And you,
of teenagers, by the way. Huh.
pardon me?
Mother of teenagers, that's
Mother of
somebody's
teenagers. Oh my days.
headache and its own joy. Can I tell you?
I know. Mother of any child at any age is with drama and headache and joy and everything all mixed up in one. Sometimes you say, wow, this is the greatest thing. Another day you say, my God, what did I get myself into? What is this? Yeah, but it's like a roller coaster movement. Then you're up, you're down, you're back, you're forward. Yeah, that's it. So we all have to find a way to balance these things, you know, have them to coexist with career at the same time, because we are now in an era where most women are involved in some amount of earning activity. So we do recognize that. I just want to thank you very much for engaging us this morning. It's been a very interesting session with you, Sherando Ferril. Thank you so much. I've been your host, Nadine Boothgooden from the Simon Bolivar Cultural Centre, Kingston, Jamaica, which is an arm of the Programs Coordination Division of the Institute of Jamaica, an agency of the Ministry of Culture, Gender, Entertainment and Sport. Thank you so much for joining us. Till next time, walk good till we feature our next superstar or star in the making on Carib Lat Got Talent.
Have you ever had to lose yourself in order to find it? I went to Hollywood to be Jamaica's first Oscar-winning actress and director, and it was very, very exciting, let me tell you. However, I recognize that in order for me to succeed in that space, I had to sound more American, get a better understanding of the American culture. Now, don't get me wrong, I have no problem with that whatsoever. But what I realized was, in order to do that, I had to significantly reduce and on some level lose my Jamaicanness. Hi, my name is Sherando Ferril Cupid and I'm CEO of Yardbridge Entertainment. My friends and relatives would call me all the time and say, Sherando, how come we're not seeing more authentic Jamaican characters in the films and television shows coming out of LA? First of all, I don't own LA. But also, that hit me, it hit home. I could not blame a system, that is called Hollywood, for not telling stories with authenticity, because they can't tell a story that you don't know, a story that you have not lived. Hence the need for Yardbridge Entertainment. This is where we tell our own stories from our own perspective, authentically. Yardbridge Entertainment, Caribbean stories, global audiences. Thank you for stopping by.